Here we are. We made it all 16 SEC football stadiums in 14 weeks, 3 college game days. We've done and seen a lot.
We have.
Now we're going to rank them. We're going to start with number 15.
Well, wait, there are 16 teams, so why are we only ranking 15?
You can tell we are Aggies. He grew up, literally grew up going to Texas A&M football games. I have been going to Texas A&M football games for 25 years. We can't judge how hard is it to park. We can't judge other atmospheres. We've been to the good games, the bad games. It would be unfair for us to rank them versus these others. What we're doing is comparing these others and seeing how we think. We think A&M's the loudest.
We think A&M's the best, and so, but we realize we're homers, and so this is our ranking. In some ways, this is compared to A&M, but in general, it's just what do we think about these stadiums as a place to go watch a football game. Number 15. What do we like about Arkansas?
A nice tailgating area that everybody could hang out at.
I felt like Fayetteville was the best. This is a college town. There are a lot of natural things. You can go hiking. You can do a lot of things in northwest Arkansas. It's a pretty area. All right, what did we not like about Arkansas?
They felt like they were trying to be somebody else.
Yeah, they did Dixieland Delight with all of Alabama's interjections. It was like, that's Alabama's thing. Don't do Alabama's thing.
Number 14.
What did we like about Kentucky?
We liked the hot chocolate at Kentucky.
We enjoyed going to the racetrack before the game. In October, they have races in the morning at Kenneland, and then in the afternoon or in the evening they have the games, which was a cool setup. Also, the lights, the stadium lighting was really good at Kentucky. I thought that it was one of the best, maybe in the top 2 as far as stadium lighting went.
The problem was that fans just really, maybe they're just too used to it. They didn't really seem to care. It seemed like a lot of stadium hype, but the fans never really were just into it. They had the cool bugle call, like in terms of like the acting like they called the races, but they had a whole box section from Keelan that was just empty.
Yeah.
The Auburn fans were just a lot louder and making a lot more noise at the Kentucky stadium than the Kentucky fans were.
Number 13, Vanderbilt. What do we like about Vanderbilt?
They gave me a pom-pom for free.
Yes, your allegiances are easily bought. The fans were really friendly. The town of Nashville is great. That's why a lot of people travel to Nashville for games. I thought that the pre-game festivities, there weren't a lot of people tailgating, but they did have a really good band playing that was free and a good little, visitor tailgate area that I thought was pretty cool. At times, Vandy felt like the largest, most well-funded high school football team in America. I love the Vandy fans. It didn't feel like a big game atmosphere.
But the third horn,
yeah,
foghorn.
the ship horn, foghorn.
Yeah, the ship horn was great for the third down. It was a super fun game. If you were in Nashville and you're looking for stuff to do, it was a fun time to be had. What are we valuing in rankings?
All right, so what is important to us is, we want to enjoy watching a game there, but also we want to make sure that, what makes a game enjoyable is that it's not like going to an NFL stadium. You've got the students are involved. They're they're leading things. We want it to be different from an NFL game, and we want it to be where the students are leading cheers. They're yelling. They're loud. They're there the whole time. The alumni are there and they're involved, and it's about togetherness. It's not about some sort of like a corporate party or something like that, or it's only rich people that are there. But we want it to be something that the whole family can enjoy and that the students are there and they're part of.
And at number 12.
What did you like about Ole Miss? The Ole Miss fans seem to really like the Grove, and a lot of people were big fans of the Grove. We weren't, but people are big fans of the Grove.
Ole Miss, the stadium has a lot of people in it, and they're into it. At least at first, they
left early.
They left early. We saw a lot of
fall down drunk people in the stadium, like we're falling down and having to be carried out kind of. It was the first stadium we saw where they have the students locked in an area and the students can't get out into the rest of the stadium, which we thought was really weird. It's a very insider-outsider. You're either in the crowd or not in the crowd, and it was We didn't feel like it was very welcoming.
It's like it. I could see it being a lot of fun to be there. It wasn't a lot of fun to visit. Maybe is the best way to put it.
Number 11. What did you like about Mississippi State?
I love the cowbells. Oh, I love those cowbells. I had so much fun with those cowbells.
Again, your allegiances are easily bought.
What about you? What'd you like?
Family atmosphere. People could bring their kids. There were a lot of kids there. The tailgating was really. They kind of had two public tailgate areas that were free for people to go to, and one was kind of aimed more at kids.
They had a lot of good, fun pregame hype. They really did have the band came on, and they have the big Saturday Night Live.
And the only prescription is more confidence.
Both Mississippi schools have Saturday Night Live skits in them. It's funny.
Okay, so what did we not like about Mississippi State?
They left early.
They left real early. Yeah, and they were still in the game against Florida, and the fans were leaving.
They were there for a party, and the game was just kind of something that also happened to be happening.
Also, they don't show replays at the Mississippi State Stadium. Maybe 3 or 4 every quarter. It's not many. They don't play replays on the TV for some reason.
We also realize that some of our things, don't necessarily line up. That, family friendliness and the students having lots of fun sometimes don't really go together. Sometimes the loudness and the stadium kind of have to compete with each other, or the parking and the atmosphere. But this is kind of our best guess. Number 10.
What did you like about the University of Texas?
You ran into the other Missouri parents.
The food selection was really good.
Oh yeah.
And they have a trophy room that's inside the stadium that's air conditioned. All their volleyball trophies and things like that.
It's an impressive stadium. Again, it feels very much like it's all coming from the stadium. As soon as that ball touched down, they are blaring music. Play over, music blaring. Play over, music blaring. Play over, music blaring. Play over, music blaring. And then they would try to sell you stuff on the big screen.
Also, the fans left.
Oh yeah.
They left a lot. Like the stadium was pretty empty late in the fourth quarter, and it was hot that day, but they left. Number 9.
MIZ.
ZOU.
We liked the campus. Campus was really pretty, and we have a daughter there, to full disclosure, and we've liked it as a school for her, and she likes it there. To me, I feel like Mizzou, if you just happen to end up in Columbia, you would become a Mizzou fan, and that would be a fun thing for you to go do.
Yeah. It was a good family atmosphere. I would have felt comfortable letting middle schooler running around the stadium on their own without any supervision. I really like the Hill. I think the Hill is one of the coolest things in the SEC, where you can just buy a ticket on the Hill that overlooks the end zone of the field. They also had the upper deck on the home side, where your tickets include free food as much as you could eat, and I think that with kids that would work out really well.
They're gonna it wasn't as loud because it's an open stadium. It's one of the things where the family friendliness in the open stadium worked against them on loudness, but it was still a fun atmosphere.
It was.
And we got to see the Lombardi Trophy because Kansas City is nearby. Number 8.
What do you like about Florida?
We did the wave in Florida. The Florida fans were so much fun. I think Florida would be really ranked high in my I had fun at the game. The way they do tailgating is and the whole parking for the whole stadium is you just find a spot on campus and park, and that's where you tailgate. Florida has my new favorite chant, which is where, like, when the other team gets a penalty, the entire stadium consistently goes, "You suck, you suck, back it up, back it up." And it was fun. Like, I've been finding myself chanting that all the rest of the game. It was a fun game. But
we were up at the very top near the speakers, and late in the game, in the fourth quarter, after singing, a lot of the Florida fans left, to where the point that the A&M fans were louder than the Florida fans. And then I noticed when A&M was on offense, the speakers behind us were piping in crowd noise. So I would assume that wasn't happening earlier in the game, but y'all lose a ton of points for piping in crowd noise. That's Bush League.
But I will give the fans credit. We had a lightning delay, and that's when we were all just hanging out, having fun doing the wave. And then it actually rained, and everybody stayed through the rain. It was really, y'all were there until you started losing, and then you wouldn't back down
and then you backed out. We went to each stadium once. And so it's possible that we just caught that stadium on a good game or a bad game for these rankings. And so, we're trying to be as scientific as possible, but we know that ultimately this is subjective.
And, you only have so many home games. So there are some things that good or bad, you should be there. Good or bad, they should kind of be the same. Day or night, you should still be able to have that game and enjoy that. You can't count on, we're great at night and maybe have one night game. That means you're not good all the other games. And how many football games are at home? You have 6 or 7 home games.
Number 7, what did you like about Tennessee?
The Voveralls. I love the Voveralls. I mean, the Voveralls are the only thing that's keeping Tennessee in this.
Tennessee was loud. I think they were the loudest when they got loud. I liked the stadium as far as being enclosed in, and I liked the VOLS sign, the Vols sign, and I liked the fireworks there. The spotlights were cool, but the seats were incredibly uncomfortable. They were too tall, so your feet, like Vera's feet were dangling. She couldn't touch the ground, and they were the pitch was super tight together, and the width was super narrow.
And we weren't the only ones complaining. People were complaining all around us about it. It was just so uncomfortable. There were no bathrooms. I stood in a line for a female restroom that had like 4 stalls in it, and I could see 3 men's restrooms for my one little female restroom that packed. It was like trying to get to your seat in the concessions with just, you were like this all the time. It was unpleasant to be there.
The band at Tennessee was really good, and I enjoyed Smokey, both the dog and the person in costume.
And at number 6,
what did you like about LSU?
The campus is pretty at LSU.
The fans are, in some ways, the best fans, and some ways the worst fans.
Yes, everybody was nice to us and talked to us, but we watched them be really rude to Ole Miss fans. They were there all day. They were carrying their little backpack coolers around all day. Those things were everywhere. And so the fans were into it. And I said, they were consistently loud. They were loud throughout the whole time. They do chant some inappropriate things. And they had fun with the Baton Rouge, calling Baton Rouge. The fans that were there were into it for the most part. They did leave early again.
Yeah, they left. It was another stadium where the fans left early, and they were in the game, and they ended up winning the game.
Yeah.
But a lot of the fans had left because they were frustrated with how LSU was playing earlier in the game.
Also, there was an entire just missing number in our row of seating. Like they had assigned a seat number to number 29, and there was no.
There was no 29. It went 28-30.
Yeah. So. A little bit of issues on the stadium, but otherwise it was fun.
Yeah. Oh, and they ran out of pretzels before the game started, which was also a big knock on them.
And there were no trash cans in the bathroom.
Yeah. Bathroom was kind of a mess.
Yeah.
Number 5, what did you like about Alabama?
Their stadium was loud.
Yes, their stadium was loud. I felt like it was also well built for watching a football game. The seats, we had seats up in the corner in the end zone, and I felt like we could watch the game. We could experience the game without any problems. We could see everything. We could see the game. I feel like they let the football game be the football game for the most part in Alabama.
Yeah.
They play replays, but there aren't a lot of commercials or things like that. There aren't a lot of distractions, and so if you're there to watch football, you're going to enjoy watching football. What do we not like about Alabama?
It feels very like sterile. I think is one of the words you described at one time.
Yeah.
It does get too close to that feeling like an NFL stadium. Have a hype man, which isn't a student, I don't think. And like he comes up and he's like, lights up, lights down, lights up, lights down, and it just, all right, now we're gonna sing Dixieland Delight. Okay, now we're gonna do, it's like they have all these things that they do. Nothing felt spontaneous.
Yeah. Like in fact, we didn't really hear the students much, and the band we didn't hear much in the stands. So.
Number 4.
What did you like about Auburn?
There's a big war eagle right over my head.
That may have been the highlight of the game.
That might have been, especially that game. Whew.
They stayed the whole game. Actually, the students did. Of course, this is another stadium where they caged the students in, so maybe they couldn't get out. I don't know. The alumni did leave the game when they dropped behind, a lot of the alumni left and did not come back, and so they missed the overtime win that Auburn got.
Good bit of tailgating. Again, once another stadium or another campus that lets us park our RV for free, but an odd system that we had a hard time figuring out. And there's not a lot else to do in the town. We went to Opelika and enjoyed some pinball.
We did.
The band was cool. We did like the Auburn band. They were good before the game and had fun. And then, it's the most enjoyed by the stadium halftime, I think. I felt like it was the halftime, it had the cool lights and they were moving around, and the fans of Auburn actually enjoyed it and appreciated it also.
Number 3, what did you like about Georgia?
Dog walk.
Yeah, dog walk was really good. The stadium was loud, and they played replays. It was a good place to watch a football game. The students were really involved and were loud.
Mm-hmm. The alumni was involved a lot too. The band didn't really play once they were in the stadium. I heard the Tennessee band way more than I heard the Georgia band. As soon as that ball was on the ground, the stadium was playing music. And even when the band was playing at halftime, the screen was running commercials. It was weird.
It was disrespectful to their own band.
Yeah. We had a place to go tailgate, which was different just because my brother was from Georgia. If we had just been there on our own at that time, as visitors, we really wouldn't have had a place to hang out before the game. Parking was atrocious.
I felt like there was no centralized location where you could go. I'm a fan of the guerrilla tailgating, but I felt like there was too little room to do anything. Mm-hmm. Even college game day was really crowded. Like, there was no space for college game day.
Yeah. And that's their campus, that lots of hills. They have a pretty campus and things like that. That's a side effect of it.
Yeah.
Number 2 is,
what did you like about South Carolina?
their cheese grits. They had some good cheese grits. No, I liked that whole little tailgating area. They had a nice little area that you could go to, hang out in, get a bunch of free stuff. Had picnic tables out for listening to the band that they had there. Had the big screen watching the other games. You were hanging out there, and then the whatever walk. What do they call it?
Was it Cockwalk? I don't think so.
Cockwalk just seems wrong. I don't think it was Cockwalk.
No, I don't think so.
Please tell me it wasn't the Cockwalk. And the South Carolina is different because their stadium's off campus.
Yeah, and so all the tailgating was at the state fair, and there were people tailgating at a gas station across the street, which just would sell spaces in their parking lot. So you didn't have the campus atmosphere, but you did have a lot of room for that kind of stuff off campus.
Had good hype beforehand, and with Hold My Hand, various records, things like that.
Yeah. I liked the lighting in the stadium. I felt like this was one of the top 2.
I did not like the red as much. The red got to the point where it was kind of hard to see. Like, I felt like the red would be cool for flashes, but they leave it on kind of too long, and you couldn't see the game at points because of the red lighting.
And the fans were loud. They started their own chants sometimes. The students were loud. I felt like they were in the game, and they stuck around.
Yeah. And, Sandstorms played way too much. But everybody was into it when they were playing it. And they did do other things instead of just Sandstorms.
And number 1 is, what do you like about OU?
They had good fun atmosphere outside. The people were great and friendly outside. And then those fans were in that.
Yeah. There was a lot of the band leading things, and the fans all chanting things along with the band. It felt like most of the noise in the stadium was started by the band and the fans joining in. And they do a sing-along, and it was Toby Keith songs this year, I believe, and and that was really cool.
And their little shuffle game is the red plastic cup game, which is kind of fitting for the Toby Keith thing. Those fans were supporting OU football. That's what it felt like. It was, they had the Seven Nation Army. They were doing OU, which they were the only stadium to make it their own, as all the stadiums that Tennessee played it. They they made it feel like theirs. They have this the schooner going around. They had the schooner, going on the field. At one point, the schooner like goes in front of us in the stadium, and so it was kind of cool. And we had good seats, and it was fun to watch. And as I said, mostly it's just everybody was there. And then afterward, after the game, everybody was still hyped, still going. They all went, across campus, not too far across campus, and there was like this bar restaurant area that everything was still going. It's kind of, they had like almost not like a street fair going, but like people were out in the street. So like the Chinese restaurant had put a little kiosk thing out in the street to be able to sell things to people and such. So it wasn't just go stand in line for a bar after the game. You could go be a part of this atmosphere with other things that you could do and just kind of, grab and go in the area.
I felt like there was nothing that OU did badly.
Yeah.
They stayed for the game. Everything was well done in the stadium. It was, I feel like they had the most complete score where they didn't have any area that I was like, man, this was really bad. So yeah.
The stadium itself was fine, had food options and things. And if you bought a water bottle, you were supporting their NIL. I think that was
which is a knock.
a little bit of a knock, yeah.